I have seen some astrologers who predicted wonderful things, but I have no reason to believe they predicted them only from the stars or anything of the sort. In many cases, it is simply mind reading. Sometimes wonderful predictions are made, but in many cases, it is arrant trash. In London, a young man used to come to me and ask me what will become of me next year. I asked him why he asked me so. I have lost all my money and have become very, very poor. Money is the only god of many beings. Weak men, when they lose everything and feel themselves weak, try all sorts of uncanny methods of making money and come to astrology and all these things. It is the coward and the fool who says this is fate. So says the Sanskrit proverb, but it is the strong man who stands up and says, I will make my fate. It is people who are getting old who talk of fate. Young men generally do not come to astrology. We may be under planetary influence, but it should not matter much to us. Gautam Buddha says, those that get a living by calculation of the stars by such art and other line tricks are to be avoided. And he ought to know because he was the greatest Hindu ever born. Let stars come. What harm is there? If a star disturbs my life, it would not be worth the same. You will find that astrology and all these mystical things are generally signs of a weak mind. Therefore, as soon as they are becoming prominent in our minds, we should see a physician, take good food and rest. If you can get explanations of a phenomenon from within its nature, it is nonsense to look for an explanation from outside. If the world explains itself, it is nonsense to go outside for an explanation. Have you found any phenomena in the life of a man that you have ever seen which cannot be explained by the power of the man himself? So what is the use of going to the stars or anything else in the world? My own karma is sufficient explanation of my present state. So in the case of Jesus himself, we know that his father was only a carpenter. We need not go to anybody else to find an explanation of his power. He was the outcome of his own past, all of which was of preparation that Jesus, Buddha goes back and back to animal bodies and tells us how he ultimately became Buddha. So what is the use of going to stars for explanation? They may have a little influence, but it is our duty to ignore them rather than hearken to them and make ourselves nervous. This I lay down as the first essential in all I teach. Anything that brings spiritual, mental or physical weakness, touch it not with the toes of your feet. Religion is the manifestations of the natural strength that is in a man. A spring of infinite power is coiled up and is inside this little body, and that spring is spreading itself. And as it goes on spreading, body after body is found insufficient. It throws them off and takes higher bodies. This is the history of man, of religion, civilizations, or progress. That giant Prometheus who is bound is getting himself unbound. It is always a manifestation of strength, and all these ideas such as astrology, although there may be a grain of truth in them, should be avoided.